For our next super simple STEM project with a single sheet of paper, I'm adding one little piece of material here. I'm adding a straw. So if you have a drinking straw around, and I'm afraid metal drinking straws won't work, the old plastic ones are the best. But we're going to be creating today a Fruit Loop flyer. And here's what the finished product is going to look like. It's going to have two paper loops taped onto a plastic straw. You can also use paper straws if you're more environmentally conscious, but again, the metal straw is not so good. But the Fruit Loop flyer is going to be thrown in such a way that your finger is on the straw, the loops are on the top, and they actually function like wings. So check this out. The Fruit Loop flyer as it comes toward you right now. Whoa, that was pretty cool. And wow, it flew pretty well as well. Now, let me show you how to make the Fruit Loop flyer. The materials you're going to need: a single sheet of paper, a ruler, pencil, some Scotch tape works well, a pair of scissors, and finally, a drinking straw. All you really need to do is this. Starting with your paper, on one end of the paper, you're going to measure 2 centimeters from one edge and 4 centimeters from one edge on one side, and you're going to do the same thing on the other side, 2 centimeters and 4 centimeters. Once you have those tick marks on both sides of the paper, all you need to do is connect those tick marks with a straight line in order to provide you 2 strips that you're going to be cutting out with your scissors. Both measure 2 centimeters wide and as many centimeters wide as your paper is, which is about 22 centimeters. It doesn't have to be exact because you're going to be altering those dimensions in a little while. But first thing you need to do is cut out those 2 strips that measure 2 centimeters by about 22 centimeters. Again, the length is going to be altered of these strips. That's one of the variables that you're going to be engineering with this super simple STEM design. Once you have those 2 strips cut out, you can actually put aside the paper and the scissors and the ruler and the pencil. You don't need those anymore. All you need now are the 2 strips, your straw, and you can open up your straw and have some fun with your straw like I know many of you have done at restaurants already. Take one end of the wrapper off, leave the other end of the wrapper on, and blow it at somebody and have a lot of fun. Stay tuned to our next STEM project next week, and you'll see how we're going to develop that idea a little bit more fully. So we've got a straw, 2 strips of paper, and a roll of Scotch tape. At this point, I would suggest taking your Scotch tape and removing 4 strips of tape about 4 centimeters long, and you can put them on the side of your table. The edge of your table is fine, someplace where you can easily reach for them once you start building your Fruit Loop flyer. Now, once you have those 4 little strips of tape, you really don't need any tape any longer either. All right, now for the construction of your Fruit Loop flyer. Each of your strips, you are going to tape them on the outside of the strip with one of your strips of tape. Make sure you do so, and don't push down too hard because you may want to remove this tape as one of your variables. You're going to alter the diameter of your circle until you get it just the way you want it. But we're going to start off with the 2 loops about the same size. They don't have to be exact. Again, this is one of the variables that you're going to engineer during the flight testing of your Fruit Loop flyer. So at this point, you've got 2 loops and you've got your straw. On your straw, you're going to take your strips of tape and you're going to roll the tape into 2 little rolls, a little less than the diameter of the straw itself, because if you roll the tape inside out, it's like two-sided sticky tape. That's the goal that you want to accomplish here. So you're going to take your little rolls of tape and attach one to one end of your straw and make another little roll of tape, sticky side out, with the other roll of tape here, and put it about halfway down the length of your straw, so that you have two sticky sides of tape, one on the end, one in the middle of your straw. And now attach your loops. One of your loops you're going to attach with the tape side down to the sticky tape on your straw so that it looks like this. The other loop, you're going to do exactly the same thing at about the mid-length of your straw. Now I'm going to give you some tips here. First, you want to make sure that your two loops on your Fruit Loop flyer are basically oriented the same way. You don't want one loop on the bottom of the straw, one loop on the top of the straw. If you have your two loops oriented in the same fashion on your straw, it's going to perform much better. But hey, feel free to alter that as you engineer your design. See what happens for yourself. You might be pleased with the results. So two variables here in particular that you can engineer as you flight test is the distance between the two loops and the diameter of the two loops. I'd encourage you to experiment with those two variables first, and as you flight test your Fruit Loop flyer, see what effect those two variables have on the performance of your Fruit Loop flyer. So that's all there is to it. Check out the Fruit Loop flyer. It actually flies pretty well the way I've just explained, but again, modify those two variables and the performance will increase so that you can actually have it travel 10 meters in a classroom with no problem once you get the variables figured out. Tune in again next week and you'll see how that little restaurant straw trick is going to become even more interesting. So stay tuned, have some fun with the Fruit Loop flyer this week, and we'll see you next time. This is the Fruit Loop flyer. Fruit Loop flyer. One more time. Much better.